Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our Skillpower Workshop series on building a protective shield in recovery. It's really good to be here together again. Today, we're going to spend some time looking closely at why social situations can feel so difficult in recovery, especially when food is involved. We'll talk about what happens in the brain and nervous system in those moments, why these environments can feel so activating, and why struggling in them is not a personal failure. We'll also explore the social pressure that can come up around food, including the idea that we need to eat certain things in order to be polite, easygoing, or socially acceptable. And then we'll walk through some very practical ways to prepare ahead of time, to protect your nervous system, and to use your supports if a situation starts to feel overwhelming. And by the end of our time together, the goal is for you to have a clearer understanding of why social events can be high risk, along with a more compassionate framework and a few concrete tools you can begin using right away. Before we move into today's topic, let's take a moment to step out of the rush of the day. Wherever you are, see if you can give yourself permission to pause. Nothing to fix, nothing to plan, no one else to manage for the rest of the next little while. This is your space. If it feels comfortable, gently close your eyes. If not, just soften your gaze and rest it somewhere neutral in front of you. Let your hands rest easily, maybe one hand over your heart, just to feel your own presence, and the other resting wherever it feels natural. Let's take a few minutes for a full body check in, sending a clear signal to your nervous system that right now you are safe. Take a slow, deep breath in through your nose, letting it travel all the way down to your diaphragm, and then exhale through your mouth with a soft sigh. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears. Again, slow inhale, gathering any tension, any social anxiety, any sense of hurry. And then exhale, releasing it down your arms, out through your fingertips. Imagine that tension flowing right down into the ground beneath you. One more time. A deep, intentional breath in, a gentle pause at the top, and then a slow, complete release. Feel your chest soften as the air leaves your body. Now, just let your breath return to its natural rhythm. You don't have to do anything special with it. Just notice it. Bring your awareness to your face. Let the forehead soften, like you're smoothing out a frown you didn't realize was there. Unclench the jaw and let your tongue rest softly in your mouth. Notice your neck and shoulders. If there's any sense of carrying other people's expectations or worries there, see if you can loosen even just a little. You don't have to remove all the tension. You're just letting a tiny bit more softness in. Let your chest open and your ribs expand comfortably with your next inhale. Let your stomach soften instead of holding it in. If it feels okay, let it spill forward just a bit as a sign that your body is allowed to be here exactly as it is. Feel the support beneath you, the chair, the cushion, the bed, whatever is holding you up right now. Notice how much weight you're allowing that surface to hold. Your seat, your back, maybe your legs. See if you can let that support increase by just 1 or 2%. Then bring awareness down to your legs, your thighs, your knees, your calves. See if there's any clenching or holding there that can soften. And then to your feet. Notice where they meet the floor or wherever they're resting. Feel the contact. Feel the weight. Imagine the ground underneath you as broad and dependable, able to hold everything you brought with you into this moment. Support it. Steady. Your protective shields. Let's think about them. As you continue breathing in this steady way, take a moment to reflect on what you've already been building in your recovery so far. You've been creating protective shields, physical shields in your home, digital shields on your devices, and social shields in your relationships and routines. You've been making changes in your environment, practicing new boundaries, and starting to reshape the cues that reach your nervous system. You might picture one small change that you've already made, maybe a pantry clean out, a new morning routine, a new boundary with your phone, or a conversation where you're advocated for yourself in a new way. Just bring that one change to mind. Notice how it felt in your body at the time. Maybe there was some fear or resistance, but also a spark of relief or pride. See if you can touch that feeling again, just for a moment. If there's any pressure about your progress, too much, not enough, should be further along, see if that pressure can leave with your next exhale. In this community, we work with data and compassion. Every step counts. You're not behind. Take one more easy breath in and out. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes and let your attention come back to the room. Today, we're bringing your protective shields into one of the most challenging environments, social situations. As much as you can create safe zones at home and on your devices, life eventually asks you to step into spaces that aren't designed around your healing. In fact, they're usually designed around the engineered food environment. Social gatherings are often where that environment is the loudest. Think about the full range of what social means in your life. It might be a big holiday meal, a birthday party, an office celebration with treats in the break room, a book club with snacks, a family reunion, a simple dinner with friends or coworkers. On the surface, it looks like just food and just people. But from a neuroscience perspective, it's a perfect storm. When you walk into a social setting, your brain is immediately flooded with cues: the sights, the smells, the sound of packages opening, the way certain foods are displayed front and center. All of that activates conditioned pathways. The midbrain starts to light up and craving circuits switch on without your permission. You might notice this as a sudden pull toward the table or the kitchen, a mental obsession about whether you'll be good or mess up, a sense of restlessness or agitation, your attention locking onto certain foods in the room. And this is happening before you've even had time to consciously think about it. Then, layered on top of that, there's the social piece. Humans are wired for mirroring. It's a survival mechanism baked into our nervous systems. We tend to match the behaviors, postures, and even the emotional tone of the people around us. Historically, belonging meant safety. Being out of sync with the group could mean danger. So, when you're in a room where eating highly processed foods is the norm, and in our culture, that's the norm almost everywhere, your nervous system reads that as this is what people like us do here. If you're choosing something different, that's not just a food choice, it's a biological disruption of the herd pattern. Your nervous system may interpret that as a kind of social risk that can create a significant internal tension. On one side, you have conditioned craving pathways lighting up in response to the environment. And on the other side, you have the pull to fit in, to avoid standing out, to avoid questions or comments. Then add stress, social awkwardness, fear of judgment, feeling misunderstood, and blood flow pulls away from the frontal lobes. Clarity drops. Impulse control weakens. The capacity for long term thinking drops. In that state, you might find yourself reaching for something you had no intention of eating. not because you lack character or willpower, but because your nervous system is overwhelmed and trying to reduce its discomfort as fast as possible. Seen through this lens, struggling in social situations isn't a personal failure. It's a predictable biological response to a very stimulating environment. Take a moment to think of a past social event that felt hard. See if you can look at it now through this neuroscience lens instead of a shame lens. Notice what shifts when you do that. Alongside the biology, there's a powerful cultural story running in the background. The idea that eating certain foods is part of being polite and connected. Many of us have absorbed messages like, it's rude not to eat what your host prepared. You're being difficult or dramatic if you say no. You're making other people uncomfortable if you don't join in. Those messages run deep, especially if you grew up in a family or culture where food was love, comfort, or even currency. So it makes sense that you might have moments where your body and your healing need one thing, but that social story pushes you in a different direction. You may be able to remember times when you ate something that didn't serve your recovery just to avoid a comment. Or you took a portion you didn't want because everyone else was having some. Or you ate past comfort because you didn't want to waste or offend. None of those moments make you weak or bad at recovery. They show the strength of the social and cultural programming you're up against. Here's a different frame to experiment with. Caring for your health is not impolite. It's a form of self respect. It's absolutely possible to be both kind and boundaried. You don't need a TED Talk length explanation for your choices. In fact, shorter is usually better because it lowers your stress and doesn't invite debate. You might gently practice phrases like, no, thank you, I'm all set. That looks wonderful, and I'm good right now. I'm taking really good care of myself today. Notice how none of these are apologizing. None of them are asking permission. They're simple, neutral statements. If someone reacts, remember their reaction belongs to them. It may be about their own relationship with food, their own discomfort, their own fears. You don't have to fix it or manage it. Your job is to protect the healing happening inside your body and brain. You might pause for a moment right now and think of one person or situation where this is the hardest for you. A particular relative, a friend, a work situation. Imagine yourself there using one of those simple phrases. Notice what comes up in your body: resistance, fear, relief. All of that is valuable information. The good news is that these environments, while intense, are also fairly predictable. And anything that's predictable is something you can prepare for. Think of preparation as your armor. Let's start with your physical baseline. Going into a social setting well nourished is one of the most powerful things you can do. When the body is steady, the brain has a much easier time staying regulated. When your blood sugar is stable and your protein needs are met, the emergency drive to seek quick hits of stimulation is much lower. That might look like eating a satisfying meal based on unprocessed proteins and supportive carbohydrates before you leave home. Drinking water so you're not confusing thirst with hunger. Checking in with your body and asking, do I feel grounded and steady right now? You're not relying on the event to meet your basic needs. You're arriving already resourced. It can also help to bring something with you, if that fits the situation. A dish centered around unprocessed proteins or healthy fats can serve two roles. It gives you a known, safe option. It gives you something to hold, a plate, a cup, a small snack. So your hands have a role and you feel less on display. And then there's your emotional baseline. Before heading out, take a brief pause. You might sit for a minute, close your eyes, and set a simple intention. Something like, I'm here to connect with people. I'm here to show up as the version of me who is healing. My job tonight is to protect my nervous system. This intention is not about perfection, it's about direction. It tells your brain what matters most in this environment. You might even visualize yourself walking into the space. See yourself greeting people, smiling, making eye contact. Picture your body feeling grounded and steady as you move through the room. Imagine glancing at the high risk foods and feeling only a mild tug instead of a tidal wave. Visualize yourself stepping away if needed and using your supports. Picture yourself leaving the event later feeling proud and intact, even if it wasn't perfect. This kind of mental rehearsal builds pathways in the brain. You're practicing success ahead of time. Even with excellent physical and emotional preparation, there will still be moments when things feel intense. Maybe someone makes a comment about your choices. Maybe a certain smell hits you. Maybe you watch someone else eat a food that used to be a big part of your life, and a wave of grief or longing comes up. When that happens, there's absolutely no requirement that you white knuckle your way through it. You don't have to prove anything to anyone by staying in the room while your nervous system is screaming. Willpower is not the plan. Instead, you can use your digital lifeline. If you notice your heart rate picking up, your thoughts getting sticky, or that I'm about to lose it feeling, see if you can quietly step away for a few minutes. A hallway, a bathroom, a porch, the front steps, even your car. Any small reset space can work. Once you're there, you can take out your phone and connect with support. ARC TV is designed for exactly these moments. With up to 15 hours a day of live face-to-face virtual connection, there's usually a window where someone is available to see you, hear you, and co regulate with you. When you log into ARC TV in that moment, you're doing something very powerful neurologically. You're redirecting your mirroring system. Instead of mirroring people who are engaging in high risk foods in the other room, you begin mirroring grounded, regulated ARC host and peers on your screen. Just hearing a calm, supportive voice and seeing a regulated face can act like an emergency brake for the nervous system. It interrupts the Pavlovian conditioning, boosts oxytocin, and helps quiet the midbrain. You might stay for 3 minutes, long enough for the wave to pass, or you might stay for 20 minutes, borrowing the steadiness of your community until your own frontal lobe feels fully back online. Then, if it feels right, you can return to the gathering with your protective shield restored. Or you might decide that the kindest choice is to leave. Either way, you're not alone in that decision. You don't have to navigate the engineered food environment alone. You can quite literally carry your safety zone with you in your pocket. As you move forward, here are a couple of ways to put this into practice. First, bring to mind one upcoming social situation. It doesn't have to be a big one. It might be a lunch break with coworkers, a small gathering, or a family meal. Take a few minutes, maybe after this session, to write down a short plan for that event. What will you eat beforehand so you arrive nourished and steady? Is there something safe you could bring with you? What language will you use if someone offers high risk foods? Where could you step away for a quick reset and ARC TV check in if your midbrain gets triggered? Second, spend some time reflecting on the role of politeness in your past experiences. You might explore in your journal, in what ways have I previously sacrificed my own physical and neurological healing just to be polite in social settings? How does it feel to give myself permission to prioritize my own remission over the expectations of the engineered food environment? Take your time with that reflection. There's often a lot of freedom in seeing those patterns clearly. Before we close, let's take a few minutes to let everything we've explored settle into your body. This is also a chance to rehearse in a gentle way what it feels like to carry your social shield into real life. If it feels comfortable, go ahead and gently close your eyes again. If you prefer, just soften your gaze. Let your hands rest wherever they feel most at ease, on your lap, by your sides, or one hand over your heart and one over your belly. Feel the warmth of your own touch. Take a slow, deep breath in through the nose and a long, easy exhale out through the mouth. Let's start by coming back to the sense of support beneath you. Feel the chair or cushion holding your weight. Notice how it doesn't ask anything of you. It simply holds. With your next exhale, see if you can let yourself be just a little heavier into that support. Imagine your muscles relaxing one small layer deeper, like a spiral unwinding. Now bring to mind a recent or upcoming social situation. Nothing extreme, just something that feels real. Maybe it's a dinner, a work event, a family gathering. Let it form gently in your mind like a soft stretch. Notice where you are in this image. Maybe you're standing near a table, sitting on a sofa, talking with someone. As you picture this scene, imagine that you're arriving with a strong baseline. You've eaten a nourishing meal beforehand. You're hydrated. Your body feels steady and supported. Take an easy breath in and out as you let that sense of steadiness sink in. Now, in your mind's eye, give yourself a simple intention for this event. Something like, I'm here to connect, or my job is to protect my nervous system. Let that intention float in your awareness like a gentle banner over the scene. Next, imagine that the protective shield you've been building around your home and your devices now extends all around you as you move through this space. Not as a wall that shuts people out, but as a clear, breathable boundary that keeps your nervous system safe. You might imagine this shield as a soft light around your body, or as a steady, grounded weight in your chest and belly. Whatever image feels right to you, see yourself in this social setting, surrounded by people, conversation, and whatever foods are present. Notice that inside this shield, you can still see and hear everything, but the volume on the pressure is turned down. When someone offers you something that doesn't serve your healing, picture yourself pausing just long enough to take a breath. Feel your feet on the ground, and then hear yourself responding with one simple, kind phrase. Maybe it's, no, thank you, I'm all set. Or, that looks great, and I'm taking good care of myself today. Notice what it feels like in your body to say that. Any flutter in the chest? Any lightness in the throat? Any sense of relief? Just observe without judgment. Now, imagine that in this scene, your nervous system starts to feel a bit overwhelmed. Maybe the room gets louder, or the food feels more tempting. See yourself quietly stepping away. You find a small pocket of space, a hallway, a bathroom, a porch. You take out your phone and open Arc TV or view a video. Picture a familiar, grounded face appearing on the screen, Imagine hearing a calm voice greet you, perhaps with something as simple as, "Hey, I'm glad you popped in. How are you doing?" Feel what happens in your body as you receive that support. Maybe your shoulders drop a bit. Maybe your breathing slows. Maybe your chest feels just a fraction more spacious. Let yourself stay in that imagined support for a few breaths. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And then imagine yourself choosing your next step from that steadier place. Maybe you decide to go back into the event with your shield restored. Maybe you decide your body is asking you to go home. Whatever you choose in this visualization, let it be guided by kindness towards your nervous system. Let your body's yes and no matter. Now, gently let the image of that social situation fade. Bring your attention back to where you are right now, the room you're in, the sounds around you, the feeling of your body on the chair or surface. Bring one hand to your heart, and if it feels okay, keep the other on your belly. Feel the rise and fall under your hands. Take two more deliberate breaths. Inhale, breathing in a sense of safety and self-respect. And exhale, breathing out any leftover pressure to perform or please. Inhale, breathing in connection to yourself, to this community. Exhale, breathing out the idea that you have to do any of this alone. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. As you come back to the room, just notice how you feel physically, mentally, emotionally. There's nothing you're supposed to feel. You're just gathering data about your own nervous system. You've spent this time today understanding why social situations can feel so intense, reframing what it means to be polite, planning how to prepare your body and brain, and practicing how to use your digital lifeline instead of white knuckling it alone. You've also given your nervous system a rehearsal, a gentle preview of what it feels like to carry your protective shield into real world social environments. That matters. The brain learns not just from what you do, but also from what you vividly imagine. Thank you for your presence, your honesty with yourself, and your willingness to keep experimenting with new ways of protecting your healing. You're building a physical shield, a digital shield, and a social shield around your recovery. That's demanding work, and it's deeply courageous. Thank you for being here. Thank you for letting this community walk alongside you.